Let me see. Wait a minute. If I see the floor, then it's too low.
And it's not eCam. We don't go live on eCam, so it don't. So the settings, certain things be looking a little different.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Okie dokie. Well, happy day. Happy day.
Well, we're not live yet.
Oh, it says live. 25 seconds.
Yeah. What up?
Oh, you just testing it?
Yes.
So how does it say live? I don't get it.
Because they're not there yet. Because we haven't let it be accessible yet.
Oh, I see. Oh yeah, I got to wash my hair tomorrow. So I'm gonna wear curly to church Sunday.
Okay. All right, we're live now.
We are live.
Mr. Big Bread, Mr. Pie Scraper. What's going on? I'm waiting for people to jump on. I don't want to go to it too
Happy
soon.
day.
Come on.
Great people.
I ain't doing nothing to everybody jump on here.
Ooh, you be you, and I'm going to be me.
Look, you have one person looking, and she go through the whole paperwork.
No, but what some influencers suggest who are experts in social media is just sitting and waiting for people to hop on is not the ticket.
Oh, boo.
Yeah.
Boo.
You should be still talking.
Let us know if y'all can hear us, right?
Start over. Well, no, we don't want to start over, but
let us know if y'all can hear us.
You don't just wait. Happy
Let us
day.
know if y'all can hear us.
What's going on,
Los Angeles? Okay, close,
Los
super close.
Angeles in the building.
Super close. What part of LA? What part of LA? It's so funny because folks be like Los Angeles, but then they'll stay away. You be waiting, and Sunland and Tahunga somewhere. I'm in LA.
Let us know where y'all watching from. Great people in the building. Y'all see my plant back there? It's holding on for dear life. I'm like, okay, that plant is like the bomb.
Y'all know we in South LA. Okay, South LA. We out here. We're in Riverside County,
Montana. Hey, Debbie, what's going on? I think it says Helen. I see the heart over there.
Helen,
is that Helena?
I can hear you.
It must be Helena.
Helen, Montana. It's Helena, Montana.
I think that's.
I always want to see Montana. I heard Montana is so pretty.
Mm-hmm. I bet.
I just want to see two
What's
buffalo.
going on, great people?
Hi, host.
What's going on?
Does it say host or something when it come up? Let me make sure I ain't saying nothing crazy. Does it say host or something? Hi, host.
What's up? What's good?
Hi, Bobby.
Michael in the
Washington
building.
State. Okay,
Tokyo,
Washington State.
bright and sunny. Let's go. What time is it in Tokyo?
What time is it in Tokyo? No, it's Helena.
Okay.
Helena.
Let's say it, Helena.
I can't wait to go to Montana. Montana is one of those ones. I heard Montana is very pretty and it's also weird at the same time. So I got to see it.
When do we went to Montana?
Cause I want to see the. I heard the landscape of Montana is gorgeous.
I bet. I've seen like
Texas.
videos.
Y'all know I love me some Texas. Y'all know I'm a country boy. Y'all know South Georgia boy.
Helena.
It's like
Helena. So it looks like Helena or A.
Like this. You went to the store here now.
Only from the South with an ATL would you hear that, okay? That is, I'm sure that is not how they
we went. I'm just talking while y'all come and jump on.
Oops, sorry.
Where I like to see where everybody is viewing from. It's always cool to me to see people looking in from different places and spaces and different countries. Where y'all calling from? Like I said, we are in Riverside County, and that is considered we're about 45 minutes to an hour outside of the LA area, the main LA area. About an hour and 30 minutes from
day of traffic.
About an hour and 30 minutes from San Diego. Right.
Good day is about an hour.
Hello from New Hampshire, MAGA.
What's up,
Bobby Renee, NYC.
2024 Trump. You know what it is.
Bobby Renee, what part of NYC? Where NYC? Where else y'all calling from? Where y'all calling from? I'm seeing y'all coming in, but where y'all calling from?
What's going on here?
Scotland. We got Scotland in the building.
Hey. We got some countries that we want to go
Manhattan.
and visit.
Okay, I love
Tokyo,
Manhattan. That's
let's
the place
go.
where I like to go when
Scotland.
when I visit New York.
What's going on in Scotland?
Scotland. Wow.
What time is it there? It's morning in Tokyo, bright and sunny. What's the time of day?
Have we ever had Alaska jump on here?
I don't know.
Like
I've seen it. Well, I've seen it in our analytics.
Yeah. But on the live, I'm just curious.
Okay, great people. Let's dive in.
Just give me more time. Just warm everybody. Go right to the facts.
Yes. That's what we do.
Right to the facts.
That's what we do.
It's 11:40 in Tokyo.
People. Oh, that's good. Almost noon.
It's 3:40 in Scotland. Wow.
So
it's morning time in those different countries.
Okay. Well, you want to ask them? Oh, I was telling y'all about my plant back there. I got it from. I have to shout her out. She doesn't know I'm shouting her out on our
channel. How much is it? All the way a real plant, or just like it's real with
it's real
pieces in there?
It's real, but it has a couple of little. Well, I don't know actually because they all.
My baby brought it home. She was like, I've never seen somebody inspect a plant like they were like real. Okay, that little part right there ain't real. That's real.
I think it was a little thing that you blow.
Okay,
it looked like you blow wasn't real, but I don't know what it feels like if it's not real. But anyway,
yeah, we drinking a little coffee too, man. I don't know. You know, y'all know I work from home and all that stuff like that.
Let me finish talking about my plant.
Had a hike and
thank you.
Getting tired.
So anyway, with my plant.
Oh my God, that was rude.
No, but you cut me off first. Okay.
When y'all dropping some new music, when she dropping some music, because your boy ain't got a rhythmic bone in my body.
I want to shout out her flower shop is Roses Say. She does some outstanding work. She's out here in California. So if you want to, this is where I got the plant from. I went to an event.
Florida. What part of Florida, Melissa?
It was out. I mean, she just has some beautiful arrangements. And she gave that one away. I was like, it'll look nice on my table. So go and check her out. New music is on the way, actually. The White Light Project is going to be released. I'm saying July. But I'm thinking end of July, maybe August. It's a spoken word project, and I still have the mixtape that I have not released yet, and I've cut it down. It was 17, but now I've cut the mixtape down to maybe 7 songs, like just the hottest ones, because it's like overdue.
So okay, what we're doing this live for is because we wanted. I mentioned that before in another video, and my wife Snapper said she was going to pull up the facts, because what we're trying to see is what, without a biased standpoint, what did this person do in their term and what does this person do in their term? Because you know how it is, because each side was just completely pick from a biased standpoint on what the other term did, which it makes it seem like each term did nothing, but each term did something. But although we might not agree with what each side has done completely, everyone did something good, but everyone also has done something that wasn't good either.
So Vertigo, real quick, drop your contact information. That's your channel name. We can write that down. I can message you and just ask to let you know. We're working on like creating our email list for our squad. City. So just in case you're interested, when the drop for the music, you can definitely I'll definitely let you know. But yeah, I wanted us to really chop this up, and I had been talking about doing this for a long time. And as we got closer to the election, because this is something that, when I hear people talk and we did the poll, if you all haven't seen that video, check out the poll we did at Balboa Beach.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of people talk about, Barack, and then we had some other people, more Biden supporters there than I expected.
That's the weirdest thing, when people still saying I'm still going for Joe Biden. It's real. It's Aki.
But they had the facts were like blurred. It was like, bruh, did you know he really had a large Hispanic population that supports him? And he was like, yeah. I was like, okay, so how does that equate to him being racist?
Does that still sit in your head when that first interview we did, the guy, he was like, all right, he hates us Hispanics.
That's why I said, yeah. That's why I said that.
I think even though we were asking him questions, we were like, oh, okay. In our mind, we were like, what? I mean, but you don't want to do that when you go on them. You just interview because somebody gave you permission to interview them. We just try to be respectful.
I be having stickies everywhere, so I'm just gonna write it on here. But yeah, I feel like it's it's great because we don't want to seem. Well, I don't want to seem like biased, but I mean, I'm a Trump supporter and I definitely have done the research, but now I want to do a little bit more in-depth research.
Yeah.
So do you want to start with yours? And y'all please chime in.
That's all about you, baby.
In the comments.
It is all about you.
But you got some stuff in your phone, but I do want you to be an active participant.
I am.
Boo.
I'm looking at the same time on the stuff I sent you.
Boo. We both go, because even when you get out there and have conversations with people, you want to have more specifics than what everybody's saying, because it's general. I want to break it down and give some real facts. So, okay, let's start with. And
just on another half, we're doing this because people always, we go out and ask questions, and then sometimes we don't have the answer. And then kind of when you're in support of a candidate, so we're in support of Trump, and then people saying this and that, and we kind of pause, and it don't look as good. You want to be able to state the facts.
Yeah, give them a little bit. Give some more facts. Okay, so if you all know some things too, please put them in the comment section. So let's go back and start with President Barack Obama.
And also, we had to find a lot of non-biased sources, because a lot of the sources that tell you about what somebody did in their term are super biased. They're super biased.
And it could be either way, but I will say, I don't know if this came from the San Diego Union Tribune. So I don't know if this is more left-leaning or right-leaning. I kind of felt like, I don't know. They gave, it may be a neutral. So let's start with the good. The article is called President Barack Obama's Legacy, the Good, Bad, Ugly, and As Yet Unknown. I'm not reading the article. I only highlighted some things that I just want to pinpoint under each section. So they said, the San Diego Tribune said, and this is dated 2017. So, I mean, I think it's still pretty good information. The good.
You're just hitting little points.
Yeah. So one of the things they said was good was that he nominated the nation's first 2 Black attorney generals and its first Hispanic Supreme Court justice, and appointed what would have been, with Senate confirmation, its first Muslim federal judge. I think that is pretty good.
People like, what are we doing?
Okay. So the next thing they said was pretty good was that how he his patience and help of the recovery following the Great Recession. He oversaw the operation that unalived Osama bin Laden and built international support for the 2016 Paris Accord on climate change.
But they are saying, and then that's so funny, even though those are the good, those still go into things that are considered the bad.
Okay, well, this is the source. So also they said was good, the Affordable Care Act. It also had flaws, they said, but nevertheless.
So I said, why is that good, and why, and what's their records like?
And okay, so once again, you got to do your homework. I didn't want to go and just deep dive in like numerical statistics. They're not really.
So hold on. We're just going over the facts of parties and terms. So we're looking at parties and terms, and we're going over the information, because even though us as Trump supporters, if we can't just bash every single thing that's not Trump. We still have to look at the facts so that we know what to talk about when we go and we interview and we talking to people in the street. We have to know the information, because somebody gonna bring it up and they have you looking crazy. So that's why we're talking about this now, because we're going over the facts between the parties.
Okay, so we're just stating some of the things that they said, and they're gonna tell you what they think. So that's no big deal.
Yeah.
Okay. So they said the Affordable Care Act. We even saw
Donna said, I'm still voting for Trump. This is not going to. We are Trump supporters. We're just going over we're not politicians, so we're going over the demographics on. I'm sorry, the terms with y'all versus just doing it in the private. So that we can talk to y'all.
We're doing is first we're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly with Obama. Then we're going to go over and talk about the good, the bad, the ugly with Biden, and then we're going to talk about some of the successes that Trump had and some of the things that they said that they weren't successes. And regardless of your opinion, how you feel, we have to really still know the difference in all, because there is no perfect person, regardless, there is no perfect president. They all had some great times and bad times, but some made
worse,
some greater gains that we feel and was still better for our country overall. And to me, that's still Trump. But once again, we still need to kind of hear some of the things that they across everybody. Now, so I can defend Trump myself. It's like, okay, well, wait a minute. They said this, but what was that really better than such and such? So no.
Right.
So anyway, okay. So we said that the Affordable Care Act, they said it for all its flaws, they still said deserves praise as well. So why they said it deserved praise with still all its flaws was that it provided health insurance for 20 million previously uncovered Americans and reset the health care debate from indifference about the uninsured to insurance for everybody. Now we on one of the videos that we did, there was a couple of Black people said that they couldn't do it.
Worse.
Yeah,
it canceled out. See, I'm gonna say, even though they say the Obama's Affordable Care Act was good, what it did, most people that I talked to in the street when this was really active, people were upset about it because it canceled out a lot of people's insurance, and it kind of made them where their insurance was so unaffordable. And then the Obamacare Act stuff was so trashy, people were pissed about the Affordable Care. I haven't met one person to this day, and not saying there's not people out there, but I haven't met one person this day that benefit from the Affordable Care Act.
And two, it's about overall what were some of the things that they did in office, because they all did some pretty good things in office. I still feel like Trump was the best, but nevertheless.
Of course, okay. We know that Trump is the best, but I still want to read the information.
So the president has also been enforced for criminal justice and education reform. So they said that he had a pardoning record numbers of prisoners and persuading many states. They didn't give the number; they just said pardoning record numbers of prisoners.
Yeah, actually, I learned that he freed a lot of prisoners, and also he had the biggest deportation that people were so upset about Obama because he was the one that deported the most people.
Now,
where they get on and say, "Oh, Trump will deport." No, people don't get the facts. Obama deported way more people than Trump did, and people are like, "Oh, he wants to deport us." No, you need to go back to you need to do your facts.
But also, if you really want some solid statistic numbers, you can check out the whitehouse.gov for each presidency. We've been there. We did a video on that, and it's very long. And we kind of already highlighted Trump's first successes in that from that website.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do some different sources and not go there because it's a lot of information.
It's a lot of information.
But each president has it, so you all can go and check it out. And also, he was supposedly good on focusing on improving teacher training and metrics. Now, the bad, they say, according to the things that weren't that great when he was in office.
Now, let me tell you something. It's stuff what you might not have on yours, but
okay.
There's some. So this is why I have an issue.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me finish, and then you come in.
I'm just going to go in with you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So the bad, but Obama, like Bush and Bill Clinton before him, not only gave up entitlement reform after grasping the political pain involved in such changes, he basically stopped talking about this gigantic problem. Okay, so that wasn't resolved. He began to disentangle our nation from its painful wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, but his initial failure to assess the threat posed by the Islamic State remains baffling and hints at naivety about jihadism powerful appeal. So in regards to that, he dropped the ball or didn't do much. And also disappointment of many U.S. allies. So he had a hands-off approach to the war that helped trigger a massive refugee crisis with such far-reaching fallout that it appears to be remaking European politics. And it also talks about how China has continued to expand its presence in South Chinese Sea. However, we were kind of like silent on the response. It wasn't anything that was done in regards to what we had. And they also mentioned how Russia was continuously growing.
Yeah.
So those were the cons. And the unknown is regarding to like the deal that was struck with Iran by the U.S. and other world powers. It prevented the long-feared nuclear confrontation between Iran and Israel. Should it be viewed as a success? And then they stated the precision medical initiative the president launched with his 2015 State of the Union speech lives up to its promise. It could radically reduce human misery and increase life expectancy, but yet that's unknown. So, no, what do you have? Because that was him.
I mean, this right here just give me a hope. It's like I'm looking at Miller Center. I don't know what this is when it comes to. Apparently, this link is in favor of Obama or something like that because it kind of paints him as this.
Appreciate
He put
it,
all
Vertigo.
he put out all these, basically saying, oh, he helped with the budget in the war and gave and had 500 gay rights bills he signed.
We know that was one of the biggest initiatives. They didn't mention that in this article, but
yeah, because there a lot of article stuff it will be biased.
yeah, they didn't mention that in this
But
one.
I'm mindful about this article because when I pulled up Trump's events, they just all they did was how they just picked dates and they trashed them on everything. So apparently whoever wrote this article is not conservative.
So what was that supposed to be for, Obama or?
This Obama.
Okay.
And it paints the picture that he did everything right. And I don't like that. I don't like that.
Okay.
I don't like that. It make him look like a saint when he. But anyway, go on to the next person. Go to the next person because the next person you said you had Trump or Joe Biden.
But Biden.
Joe Biden is still in term though. Like his stuff isn't finished. He still has that dash until.
But he's at the end. He's at the tail end. This is up until this point, I guess. This article was dated 2021, and some of the other articles I didn't select too is because they have that same bias, and we already see where he is. But he's had an opportunity to serve. No, he's only served one term. I was thinking about Obama.
Yeah,
Obama.
Bear was the original name before it signed over from his Kenyan father, but it's the whole Lolo Santoro stuff, all that stuff kind of goes a little deeper. But we are gonna go into that one because we just going on to the just the topic on what they did, because y'all know, as everyone knows, there's so many photoshopped information out there, and how can we also are checking ourselves on things. How can we be lovers of Christ when we putting out gossip? We don't want to gossip. So we just want to focus on the facts. If somebody did this and they were wrong, they were wrong. But I'm not going to go to the deep kind of, I'm not going to go into the stuff on the gossip. We're not going into gossip. If it ain't facts, it ain't it.
So we are talking about now, this is the pros and cons of President Biden's historic expansion of government. So I guess the pros and cons of certain things that he supposedly did. So it says he proposed boosting Pell Grants, which also assist low-income students and making 2 years of community college free. His plan would
Obama did the same thing. He made community college free.
His plan would enable parents to stay in the workforce. I don't know if it's good or bad.
I don't really know.
So by guaranteeing
ruined a lot of stuff,
that low and middle income families do not pay more than 7% of their incomes on child care for children under 5.
Yeah.
The United States is an outlier among developed countries in lacking a paid family and medical leave program, forcing workers to quit their jobs in the event of major life disruptions. Biden's plan would guarantee Americans 12 weeks of paid leave in case of personal illness, the sudden sickness of a loved one, or the birth of a child. So is that the case? 12 weeks, that is...
What's that?
12
with the
weeks.
abortion
That's
thing?
3 months.
With the baby thing?
No.
3 months.
This is, are you listening? So
for real?
This is, if a family has a crisis, they were trying to have paid medical leave programs, forcing workers to quit. Well, if the programs would force them to quit because they didn't have enough time off. But Biden's plan was going to guarantee 12 weeks of paid leave in case of personal illness, the sudden sickness of a loved one, or the birth of a child. So 12 weeks is 3 months because it's 4 weeks in a month. So,
but that ain't nothing new. I mean, what's so special about that, man?
But is that the case?
I don't know.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Because
they said would. So this is something that could have happened. I don't know if it's happened yet.
In the education system, that's like the standard. You know, it's not like no special thing. You get what I'm saying?
But this must be for people who are not in. I don't know if that's the case. 3 months. How long maternity leave is. I honestly don't know.
Because when I worked at the hospital and worked at other places, it was you got that time for like a baby, if you had a baby.
But what if that might be in your education system? But what about these other programs? Does the post office do that? Can you get that at McDonald's? Can you get that at Chick-fil-A?
If you're a full-time carer, you can.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But this here says this plan would guarantee Americans 12 weeks of paid leave in case of personal illness. So
depend on your job, depend on the type of job you are, and depend on how much the jobs care about you. Because he put a lot of stuff in place that's saying, hey, do this, but then the job say, man, let's just go and fire these people because we're not going to meet the standard of what the president's office is saying, because we don't want to really have to pay the people. So I don't know. I don't really trust a lot of stuff Biden did. And then I don't trust Obama either, but I will say, Biden's term, he ain't finished yet. So we only have
this is what they say so far. Talking about limiting the child tax credit spending. The taxes the president proposed would not cover the whole cost of his plan over 10 years. In theory, tax hikes from his previously proposed infrastructure plan could fill the gap in later years, but only if Congress allows the programs with expiration dates to end and new tax increases to remain in place permanently. So this is yet to be determined. Has this already happened? And I guess this, what they're saying is proposedly. So maybe this has already happened or in the process. I'm not sure. And then it says he pledged not to raise taxes on anyone making less than $400,000 per year.
But I don't understand that. So is he taxing? He taxing himself because he getting more than that. Richard said, not facts, opinions. We're reading articles on factual sites from government sources. So, Rich, I don't know if if you're talking about are you talking about what's been said in the chat, or are you saying what we're talking about?
Yeah, this is from the Washington Post.
And that's from the Washington Post.
So it's giving proposedly.
Oh, Richard, I guess that might be Richard and and Mag Negro must be going back and forth for the conversation.
Yeah, but this is, so whether it's passed or not, I'm not quite sure. These are things that they said, but that are the pros and cons to some of the things he suggested or had planned on doing. So right now, is it 12 weeks of paid leave in case of personal illness? Can people get jobs that are not in, your professional jobs? I mean, is this something that's solid?
I mean, I still have a day job, and it's still, I mean, that's just like standard. That's like nothing special about it. But I guess because especially too, when it depends on if you're a union, it's a lot of things that go in place when it comes to some of the stuff that Biden's saying that he put in place. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, stuff in regards to Obama that came from the San Diego Tribune. So they're just giving you, once again, what they deem to be the facts. I had to make sure my story uploaded. That's why I left it like that.
Okay.
So the last thing is that Biden can keep his tax pledge or create a strong,
Richard said he's referring to the good and bad about Obama.
Federal safety net. Mr. Biden can keep his tax pledge or create a strong, sustainable, federal safety net. He probably cannot do both. So where are we with Biden and his tax, supposedly? Because the whitehouse.gov is going to tell you specifically what he's done. But of course, they're going to continue to add to it because the term is not up yet. So supposedly, I guess he's also done some pretty decent things and also some horrible things too, because we see what's going on with the world right now. And the last one, of course, is, did you have anything on
No.
Biden? No? Okay. The last one is Trump's wins and losses. And I forgot what source I got this. What news article? Oh, the Business Insider. Now, I like the fact that they did report his accomplishments pretty decent, but I felt like they were skewed in some of the things that I disagree with them on how they reported it.
Who?
The Business Insider.
Why'd you use that source then?
Because it was more of a semi-neutral, or certain things that they reported, they said to me that was more accurate versus some of the other ones that were just completely bashing him. So I was like, no.
And did you notice when you were going looking for a search for factual stuff on what Trump did in office, how you really had to dig to find stuff, where if you would have put in something for Obama, it just they try to paint him out this light, but you had to dig because everybody, most of the sites I looked at were biased on Trump, and it made all the things he did, it made it look like he didn't do anything.
Well, I think too, it could also depend on how you search, like what your search was.
I just I did a search. I said, Trump's policies that were put in place while he was in office.
Yeah, I searched the same question for each. I think I said the pros and cons of President Obama while he was in office as U.S. president, and then I just took out his name and put the other one. So it kind of gave me articles that had write-ups like similar to that. So, okay, anyway, let's start with Trump's accomplishments. Reshaping the federal judiciary. Now it says Trump's most lasting impact on the countries will be the reshaping of the federal judiciary. Do y'all agree? Trump installed 3 Supreme Court justices and 226 judges overall to the federal bench, all for lifetime appointments. Amy Coney Barrett, or Cooney, I think it's Coney. Amy Coney Barrett became Trump's 3rd Supreme Court justice and on October 26th. Okay, now it says in just 4 years, Trump appointed 54 judges on the 13 U.S. circuit courts. Now, compared to Obama, he appointed 55 circuit judges in his 2 terms. So it took him 2 terms to appoint 55 judges, whereas Trump, a total of his 1 term, did 226, and they were for a lifetime appointment.
Yeah.
So I think that's outstanding. Now let's move on. Accomplishment, Space Force. In signing a $738 billion defense spending bill just a few days before Christmas, he established the 6th branch of the U.S. Armed Forces, the Space Force. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
But if you all want some solid numbers and facts, to me, this is one of the articles that gives that. But also go to the whitehouse.gov and look up each person yourself. And you'll get, I think you'll get more facts than a people's opinion and facts.
And I think too, what I'm noticing, and also I'm learning that just being truthful, it seems like a lot of people really don't care about the details. They only care about how this affect my house. It's not really affect that things that were done for this country. It's only my house. Mm-hmm. And if you ain't done nothing for my house, you have lost. I do see that is a big
Every
thing.
Man for
but
himself.
a president has to be able to do things for your house, and they do those things that you don't know that they're going on, that they've been done for the country, but people have to see it. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the issue with Obama and Biden. People weren't seeing whatever they were trying to do for people's household. They just had their own agendas. They were putting these policies in place, but you won't really affect you for the positive. Whereas Trump wasn't really, I don't know if he was really truly focused on gas and all those foods, but the things that he was doing behind the scenes allowed things to stay low. Whereas with Joe Biden, I don't think he really focuses on gas and food, but all the stuff that he's putting in place and all this spending puts too much pressure on these companies, and they're elevating. So that it affects us. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the real thing about the American people, is what affects us. And I don't think people really care about all the details, unfortunately, but you need to know, because these are stuff that affect your pocket, whether you know it or not.
Well, yeah. And I think of course it makes sense for everyone to be thinking about their household, because who else is there when you get in your house but you? It's your bills, your gas, your job, your children, if you have children, and so forth and so on, family. So most definitely. However, there are things that we still have to think about as a whole for the U.S., which is definitely our military for one, and the border crisis.
Yeah.
So let me keep going. But I didn't know that about Space Force. The Space Force is the first new military service since the U.S. Air Force was created in 1947. Can you believe that? So
I wonder what the Space Force, how they can join, and do they cross mingle with SpaceX, with Tesla? I mean, with Elon and stuff, like when it comes to like the Space Force, but that's just fully governmental, and I guess they observing.
Well, it says
I want
right
to know
here,
what the Space Force does. Like
it says, the new branch has not been established to protect the planet from extraterrestrial threats, but is tasked with protecting the U.S. military's assets in space, which is still good. This last paragraph says, the man that directs the Aerospace Security Project for Center of Strategic and International Studies, his name is Todd Harrison, said it will create a centralized, unified chain of command that is responsible for space. Because ultimately, When responsibility is fragmented, no one's responsible. And that's king. And I like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I mean, if there's no one specifically that does certain things towards this particular task or department or whatever, then there is no accountability, and every man is doing some different stuff. And oh yeah, can you do this? No, that ain't it. Okay, moving on. Another accomplishment was that changes to the tax code, and I'm hearing that supposedly there were all some changes that they did in the tax.
Did y'all hear? You hear Trump just said it yesterday, and I've been seeing it on Twitter and saying about he wanted to cut taxes. I mean, I don't know what that entails,
Richard.
I don't know what that entails when he wants to end, I think, taxes, but I know that it would be it probably wouldn't be just like boom by taxes, but it would be something that would that would help the people as far as tax codes and the federal taxes. But I heard he wants to eliminate the tax system, which I don't think is possible, but there are things you can do that will benefit the world when it comes to taxes, because people that, and I'm like I tell y'all, man, have a business, because if you don't have a business, you don't want to get taxed more than anybody. So you got to have some form of a business.
Okay, so it says the Republican tax bill that made sweeping changes to the tax code, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. So it permanently slashed the corporate tax rate to 21% from 35%, while also providing temporary benefits for individuals and their families. And this is where a lot of people were saying that is where the tax cut suffered. But, my thing is,
okay,
so he did provide some relief, but I just feel like Trump to individuals and their families, not only to the corporate, but the ones who are in the corporate realm in that sector are paying more than your average family is paying anyway.
Michael, tax is voluntary, not mandatory, but do you know that tax, I don't know your beliefs or anything, but tax is a biblical standpoint that it goes so far back, and then it's a state mandate. So you can, although it's not not mandatory, you could try to avoid it if you want to, unless you got things in place so that you get a lot of tax cuts. But if you could try to avoid it, you want to, boy, you're gonna be hiding in the woods with you only gonna be in the woods off grid. Okay. If you try to run them taxes too long, you got to be off grid.
Don't try it.
You got to have businesses. You got to have a good tax account.
But that's why Trump was able to provide all his stuff for the 5 years that they asked, and Joe never did. But his stuff was all in order anyway, of course, because he's a businessman. So anyway, moving on.
Michael said also, Space Force is also to release technology and not in the public use. It's when you got that much money and that much minds behind stuff. It ain't stuff that we gonna see or we need to see anytime soon, because the American public, we can't handle all the stuff that they doing back there.
Let's go. Okay, so another accomplishment was the First Step Act, and I remember I actually did a video about this about prison reform and stuff like that. So he signed this, into law, this act into law in December 2018. Marking the first legislative victory in years for advocates seeking to reform the criminal justice system. The bill passed with overwhelmingly bipartisan support in Congress. It offered relatively modest changes to the federal prison system. Okay, so that's good. I remember that it was a lady in Atlanta who has become an advocate speaker about, supporting Trump, because she actually met him because he pardoned her, and it was like, wow, that's pretty dope. Okay.
Greg and Chewy, we love you too.
It says, so these are some of the key aspects of that act. The passage of the bill marked the first major legislative win in decades to address mass incarceration at the federal level. The bill overhauls certain federal sentencing laws, reducing mandatory minimum sentences for drug felonies and expanding early release programs.
And this was what Trump put in office.
For the First Step Act.
Nice. Okay. And see, people, they don't talk about that. They don't talk about he reduced certain things so people that had these low level felonies, it wouldn't. Mm-hmm. That's another thing. I think some black people are aware of that, and that's why they support it.
They were talking about a lot of the, marijuana and certain other drugs, that, especially that one. Okay. The bill also makes retroactive a 2010 federal sentencing law, reducing the sentencing disparity between crack and powder, cocaine and fences. Also,
America, cocaine.
The bill also aims to lower recidivism by offering more rehabilitation and job training opportunities, and it includes provisions intended to treat prisoners humanely, banning the shackling of pregnant inmates. That's just horrible.
Joe Biden is completely anti I mean, not prison isn't good, but things have to be done a certain way from as far as law. And Joe Biden is every time I think about prison, I think about Joe Biden. When I think of prisons, Joe Biden now comes to my mind because of the 83 crime bill or 84 crime bill. So that's funny. That's every time I think about it now, it's just like he the one to come up because he's the one that was a big person to sign on to that.
Okay, the use of solitary confinement for most juvenile inmates and mandating that prisoners be placed in facilities within 500 miles from their families.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't. Okay.
Within 500 miles. If they're out of town, I mean, well, I don't know.
Unless you like,
I don't know.
Like you somewhere in Iowa, you done got locked up in Iowa, but you from Mississippi, maybe they ship you down. I don't know. I thought you have to stay up there and do your sentence or whatever, unless you got some kind of other convictions or something in your state and they bring you back. But crime, that's one thing I know nothing about because that was never. That lifestyle had no desire for me. It was no desire.
It says, I don't know if you guys heard of this, but if not, do some research on it and make a video, please, called Nasara and Gassara. Really important to look up.
Write it down. We definitely gonna look at it. If y'all drop down stuff y'all want us to look at, of course we're gonna look at it. Of course. That's why I go back and replay, look at the chat replay, and then certain things that are said, I'll go look it up. I will go look it up.
Sarah and Gassara. Okay.
Hopefully it's some raw information because y'all know it's so much fake news out here regardless. Whereas there's so much fake stuff out there. And we have to, as believers in Christ and believers in God, we cannot focus on gossip stuff. We can't. That makes us look foolish. Gossip stuff makes you look foolish. If y'all go look at the other streamers, the other YouTubers, they're focused on what's actually happening. Y'all go look at, if you go look at, I shout out other YouTubers, Lou, Benny, you go look at their channel, they focus on what's going on, not really the gossip per se. It's about the information. So we want to focus on the information, stay away from gossipy stuff.
Because that's when you can make solid decisions off of real facts. People giving you fluff and people still, having to say Trump is racist, to me is just like, what year are you in? Are you froze or stuck? I mean, I don't get it. And where are you getting the information from?
How many people said that when we were interviewing?
What source are you listening to still? Because there have been a gazillion resources that have stated how many times he's debunked certain things. And then sometimes people have misconstrued certain words or taken things and have transposed the context of it. But anyway, another accomplishment: defeating ISIS's caliphate and killing, unaliving.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi.
Don't even do it to yourself.
I think I did it. So, late October,
I didn't even know about this person.
A U.S. raid led to the unalive of ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Baghdadi was the world's most wanted terrorist up to that point, and his death represented a major blow to the terrorist group.
Richard said it right now. This is true. Even though because we have to come with the information pretty quickly. Some channels come with it immediately. Some wait 24 hours. It says, typically, I let news stories simmer before reacting because the truth takes time to come out. And that's absolutely true. That's why I'm super mindful about, especially when it comes to, y'all see how this cop unalived the black man. And you go and do your research and you see that this was a lie to paint pictures that are no longer, people are not standing by observing anymore. And now it's people like, yeah, and then you gonna have some people out here that are still foolish and they believe everything on first sight. So I don't. I have to go look at it a little further now because I've been fooled a few times. So now I sit there and look let me see other clips of other things, because usually somebody will have another different angle where you be like, oh, okay, see,
multiple sources.
Exactly.
That's my thing. I'm multiple sources, multiple reputable sources. I like to go to different sources to see what they're saying. And if I listen to content creators who are in this specific area, I check their source to see, okay, well, where did they get this from?
Oh,
so
and there's a conversation going on between who is this talking about this? Greg and Chewy and Michael. And that's a good conversation that's in the chat talking about the whole gold thing. And that's, I do 100% believe. I'm sorry, I'm getting too amped up when I think about it. But when Trump was been talking about the whole thing about gold, and we need to bring that back. And I'm like, I 100% agree. We need a real sources.
We just did a video about that too.
Yeah, we don't, because if you keep, how long are we gonna just keep printing money until the planet blow up, until the US just explode? So that's why a lot of countries pull back. That's our petrol, all those things, with those other countries. So we need a standard. We need gold. We need things that we can back up to. We can't just keep backing it up with paper, print out more paper with nothing behind it. We're gonna fall into a trap. But we're still the greatest country on earth, but we don't want to keep falling into this hole. We don't want to keep falling to this hole.
You were talking about gold. We definitely need to
Oh, shout out to our sponsor, man.
Yes.
Genesis Gold Group, baby.
Yeah. So check it out in the description. It's all about preparedness and being focused and thinking about your future. Hold on, guys.
Greg and Chewy, don't ever say I'm too poor, because if you speak, you say, if you claim something about yourself, then you will always be that. So, I always say, say I'm wealthy. I can afford gold. I can afford this. I can afford that. So yeah, don't say you can't, you too poor, because then that's exactly what your lips will continue to create.
Okay, so these are some of the things that they said about the failures when Trump was in office.
Food. Yep.
So these words I didn't really know about, and
so these are what they're saying. This
it was
they think things that Trump failed on.
Yeah, a long list, and some of the ones that I didn't necessarily agree on, I just didn't even put them in. But these I wasn't quite sure about, so I just wanted to highlight these to see what you guys were thinking, and also to go and see what the WhiteHouse.gov has also said. So the failure one was Charlottesville and George Floyd. Trump's response to a deadly neo-Nazi rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, was one of the most controversial moments in his presidency. I remember it, but I didn't zoom into it.
Yeah, but he didn't tell. He wasn't in support of the neo-Nazis. I just read that the other day. That was cap to made out. I think too. He's more reluctant about who he's dealing with if they're on some funny business. But he wasn't for the Nazis, and he wasn't for what they were talking about. So no, that wasn't true. I just read that recently.
Okay, and it says also, in the wake of the brutal unalive of George Floyd at the hands of Minneapolis police and the nationwide protests that followed, Trump also failed to rise to the occasion. I don't really remember what his stance was on that, but that's one of the failures they said. You all know how we feel about pretty much the George Floyd situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Failure. And so this was a failure. America's global image is in shambles.
I
don't agree with this.
That is so cap.
But this is what they said. They said Trump's handling of we do know this. Trump's handling of the coronavirus pandemic also left the U.S. embarrassed on the world stage. That is one of the things before we came over that was kind of, having me, like, I think I felt at first that he was being a little lackadaisical about it, or it wasn't taken upon as serious that it should have been. And now in hindsight, look what Fauci is. So
true.
Was his views really tainted?
I'm gonna say
now we see
the pandemic thing was the only thing sketchy all across the board. So when Trump was in office, this was before we became Trump supporters. He was, Trump was doing the whole thing like taking the mask off and saying this and this. And then what was confusing is it wasn't the fact that he was saying, don't do this. What's confusing is eventually he joined that side and realized, okay, yeah, y'all need to do this and that. And I think a lot of people kind of step back. A lot of people in support, but a lot of people step back because of that. And that's the only thing that I saw that I can think of that was the biggest issue was
and that for me it was that until of course we started doing our homework. But then I felt like him tweeting. And when they say
even Officer, I was listening to Officer Tatum's talk about in the Heat. That's the one thing when he was saying on himself on his channel that he did not agree with because how things were handled, and then he also ended up supporting it. So that was something that I think that's the only thing Trump really did that I was just like I don't know.
So the handling of not that I'm sorry. It says the American global image is in shambles. I don't agree with that.
Yeah,
Trump was very aggressive when it came to getting on these other countries and building and building that bridging the gap and building the relationship. Okay, does he like them or do they like him? Who cares if they were able to come up with a deal that they both that was still for the betterment of our country and they both could agree on. You don't have to be liked to do business, especially presidents of other nations. I mean, come on, let's keep it real. So I don't necessarily agree with that statement. And it said also and created a void in global leadership that China has rushed to fill. I don't now we're dealing with that from the Biden administration.
What's so crazy to me was the Russia thing. How if you go look back and Obama gave all that money, he gave that money to Russia and supported with Russia, and then look at Russia now, and then even with look at now, and then you got now we on the verge of a scare or worry. Although we still as people that are not insiders on this whole Russia thing on why those ships are over there or truly what's going on, we can only assume. We can only put stuff on Twitter to make kind of bring on a lot of fear mongering and to bring a lot of more fear mongering. We really don't know, and unless we have some solid facts, in which we wouldn't have because you got to be on the inside to know. So I'm just being mindful on how I look at stuff and say, oh yeah, they just trying to, we don't know yet. Even Trump was saying, he said they shouldn't be over there, but we don't know what's going on yet. And like I think Richard was saying, that's why you kind of have to give it a little time to see what really going on. Because then if you attack something, you're wrong, and then we get quiet because we're wrong.
Just rely on one source, whether it's a content creator who's in that area and they're an expert, or they're learning or whatever. I just feel like you definitely need to have multiple sources that's going to report facts and not slant it. It's going to give it, like he says, the fake news,
and the facts be out there. It's not. So the attention span is very quick. Like me, I'm telling you quick. I'm a person that need to see it quickly so I can get what I need to get from it. But that's not the best way, because the quick information usually don't give you all the detailed information, but the facts be out there, and you got to sit there and read articles and read all the way through, which most people don't have time or will not do.
Don't want to. And the last one they said that he did, I only listed 3. There's only 3. I gave more of his wins than what they said was losses. The third one was replacing the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. They said Trump never offered a replacement for the Affordable Care Act. As a candidate, Trump promised insurance for everybody and a more immediate replacement to the nearly decade-old ACA, but he didn't deliver on that as president.
Yeah,
so
I don't remember whatever happened with that.
Yeah, that's something to go to whitehouse.gov for. And I would just say, let that be one of the places where you start, because it's going to give you numerical statistics. Also, the Pew, the Gallup poll, I don't know how, but I think they just give statistics as well. So, So what do you guys? I mean, how are you feeling about that? I know we have a lot of Trump supporters on our.
I lost so many family for wanting Trump back in office. My cousin stopped talking to me. Great, yeah, that's all a part when you go against the everyone's comfortable opinions. A lot of times people will step away from you because you don't make them comfortable anymore.
Right. And that's that's what it's about.
Bitcoin,
thinking for yourself.
Tokenized real estate.
Many Black people voted Democrat because that's how they grew up.
But y'all know we talked about that so many times.
So it's like, I don't know about other cultures. However, that just goes back to, the mindset of people and the lack of willingness to do your own homework and not to be a part of the status quo.
But you know what? That's so funny. Now you just made me think. Like, all right, y'all know we picked because we start doing the research. We start seeing what was going on. Is why we picked Trump. But then on the same token, that's the same reason why a lot of Caucasian people go for Trump. It's not because of going for Trump. They're going for how their parents raised them also to be conservative. Mm-hmm. Where just like on black people, knowingly or unknowingly, black people were raised to be Democrats just because that's how they were raised. And that's the same thing on the side of the conservative side. So you have to go beyond our households and see why I picked this way. But if you can't you can't look into the facts and try to figure out what did this person do and why am I voting for them, you will always pick the status quo and you will never grow. You won't really grow. So we stay away from what our parents told us. But I see a lot of people do that too. They still on what their parents told us. Some people don't even know why they're going for Trump. They stuck on they only going for Trump because he speaks it like it is. Yeah, but what else? What are the real reasons? What does Trump do, and what will he do? Why you going for Trump? Everybody just picked Obama for culture.
Sarah says, Seth, did I say that right? No,
I'm half black.
Sarah. Hope I said that right.
I'm half black and white, but both parents are Democrats. They talk with me, but they don't want me voting for him. Yeah, but it's the same thing, Michael. That's what I'm saying. And I guarantee you, it's that Democrat side. They don't respect that you're going for them because they feel like because even though you're mixed, you're still black. They feel like we only supposed to vote this way, and that's so wrong. That's so wrong.
I'm thinking with Sarah, wrong. She said, or this person says, I've been trying to broach the possibility of collaboration rather than debate as an overall lane to be about as far as choices go, places and people. I mean, I like that. I like the collaboration. And that's what I feel like the mindset of how Trump is approaching certain things. He was able to, in one of the interviews that he just had, he was like, for the most part, he had, everybody in the Republican Party was on board with what they discussed.
Yeah.
And even from the other side, from the left, he had people there also in agreement. And that's what I feel like. I feel like we need to have the people on the left who want to do their job and who care about the people, and the Republican Party come together. That's what it should be about, because no one is going to always like everything on either side.
I was just about to say that. This is not really a what if, this is actually factual. After Trump becomes president and after his, the next president comes in and it's somebody that you don't care for as a candidate, would you still vote conservative, or would you sit back and say, I'm gonna go libertarian on this presidential term because I don't agree with either side? I'm voting for Trump.
I don't know.
So I'm just
Trump,
saying.
Period. But I don't know. But he is the what if king, guys. I'm not big on the what if.
She not what if. She like to
take it.
So I'm a what if. I'm what if daddy. If this?
I'm not. I can't do the what ifs. So I know it's Trump, and whoever after him for the 4 years, I hope it's another Republican that I support. Like I'm interested to see how DeSantis matures with his role, Vivek, all of that. But anyway, I just feel like this was some good information, and I'm going to continue to read and go back and look at whitehouse.gov and other resources that's reputable. And what am I mean reputable? Someone that is going to, if you're going to say something that is your opinion based along with the fact, it needs to be that way on how you report everybody. It shouldn't be this person does this, and they're great and they're all this, but yet you're only reporting issues about this person and never want to highlight the factual things.
Oh my God.
I can't.
But who the conservative Republicans and Democrats, both left and right, do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes it's like, so y'all know, like CNN will only paint Trump badly. And then the left will only see the bad in the situation. I mean, the right will only see the bad situation in the left, because sometimes that don't get exhausting. Sometimes it get exhausting because it's like, okay, now, but I will say on this one, the thing with Joe is kind of super embarrassing. That is, I'm just saying from a standpoint, that is super embarrassing, and people have their right to say what they're saying about Joe because it's embarrassing. I'm tired of saying that.
But you can, Sephora, I hope I'm saying your name right. You can still compare them with other resources. So that's why I said the whitehouse.gov, to me, it's still going to give you a lot of numeric information. And they go down each branch, of a government, a category, from energy to stuff that I wasn't even thinking about, climate change, all of that stuff. They put the information. So go compare, if we're not out there reporting the news, you got to trust somebody. Let's just keep it all the way 3,000.
Yeah.
Let's just be for real. You got to believe something at some point, because that's what's influencing your decision right now to vote for Trump. We ain't out here doing the research and reporting on that. We are relying on people's information to do the reporting. We want you to report the facts, not what you want it to be. So you still got to trust some sources, and I still trust them because you can go back and look at all of the presidents from right off the rip, and you're going to get some numerical information. Now you got to go and dig a little bit further and find some other resources that might be similar, or it's not too far off in range wise. That's how you know if something's like, wait a minute, they said this, but they said that.
But you know what? Thank God. I will say thank God for the internet and social media, because prior, all you really had was looking at the news feed you what they want to feed you. Now you go ahead and look at these sources, and the source show you something totally different. But we still have small brain people that's still being fed the same information from the news, and that's what they hold on to. I don't even like really talking to those people because you're so limited. You don't deserve my presence.
You got to go to multiple sources, and then people still have a right to their opinion. So we just wanted to share this information so it kind of opens up you guys, if you don't already know. Some of you may be abreast who's definitely been in the politics a lot longer than us. We are truly not experts. We're learning, and that's why we're going to continue to do things in this manner, and then share what we learned and found out with you guys, because that's what it's all about. You cannot make informed decisions for your household, and then share these things with your friends, your colleagues, your family members, or even have a discussion with the person you don't know if you don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm not willing to sit here and listen to a person that's going to give some fluff and their opinions. I mean, it's great how you feel, but that don't matter to me. I need to know the information.
Yeah. I could be a little opinionated. So what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying, but you still have facts that I know are solid facts that may support your opinion. I'm talking about this specific thing. Boo. What is you talking about?
Yeah, it's kind of slim pickings, but they also helpful as far as threat avoidance goes. I don't know. That might be some other conversation.
But I mean, I'm just, nevertheless, whatever you are thinking and you have gotten your influence on, you went to a resource, you got it from a resource, whether it's YouTube articles, these news people, or TikTok, Instagram, X, NPR, the list can go on. What's that? Satellite radio, whatever it is, you're still listening to a person relating information. So you still got to trust
the information is out there. The information out there.
It.
But I still love looking at X, because you kind of because X kind of give you them angles of, whoa, see, look at the media saying this, but this is really this. See, that's what I love about X.
And that too is you have other people who are also in government that might not be as high up, or you don't know about them. They can still put you up on some game, and that's what I like.
Yeah.
Go to the library and do your research.
Yeah, how many people really gonna do that?
Exactly. And then how you gonna understand what you read in the first place? So anyway,
True.
Okay, great people. This was really, really good. We're gonna tap in, even more, especially as the closer that it gets. I want to kind of chime in and say, well, what has Biden really done now?
But this is probably gonna last if we do this kind of ones, because we really like to do the exciting stuff that's going on in the world. We just was trying to do this as a breakdown to talk about who did what and what was done on terms. It goes breakdown of even more than that, but if we go that, we'll be on for
And
hours
I
and
still
hours.
feel like Trump is the best out of all.
Well, yeah,
out of all.
y'all
So
already
let's
know
just
that.
make that clear.
Y'all already know that. Y'all
Trump,
know that
to
how
me,
we feel about that.
And I just was watching him, and then I guess we can wrap this up. And I said this in one of our videos, is that you just look at him going from place to place to place to place. The man is strong and tough as iron. It's just like, even when he said his speech and the Republicans Party were behind him, shaking a hand, giving them hugs,
I'm always following
talking to
calling
him.
see what's
Please,
going on.
Joe up there froze. He can't even. Okay, which way do I go? Which way do I go?
Yeah.
Please. So it just made me just like, come on, y'all know what it is.
Yeah,
Trump
yeah.
2020.
It's a whole. Looking at the Biden stuff is so embarrassing. I'm like, man, this is right here. It's getting how long we gonna keep going through this? How long we got left before we keep dealing with this old man? I
hope I have an opportunity to
and it's
meet
okay
him.
to be older, but I'm saying watching him
to
embarrass himself embarrass everyone.
All right.
All right, man. So we just want to get on with this one. The next live will probably be, because it's going to be
2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, something crazy been jumped off. We're going to be on talking about that. So
crazy stuff going on for sure.
But y'all know how that thing goes.
Informative, great people.
It's been going in waves. So
yep. We love you guys. We appreciate your support. Check out our description, and with our sponsors and everything, is so powerful to be up on what's going to help better you and your family, especially what's going on. Go, baby. Go.
Yep. Liberty and freedom first. Let's go.
All right. We love you guys. 2024.
Be more.
Talk less.
See y'all in the next one.
Heal.